All right, everybody's muted, but can hear me. And so I'm going to go through and um, go through what we're going to talk about, kind of getting ready for the season, really going through all of our protocols. And when we get through, if you have any questions, just let me know and I will answer them. You can put them in the question box and we will answer from there. I'm also going to try to video this. I hope I'm doing this right. And I'll post it on YouTube and send it all to everybody and go from there. So I'm going to be admitting people as we get going. I'm going to go through the first part really quick because it's stuff that we've had through the years that we've seen through the years. So I'm gonna try to be quick with as much as I can. But the administration part, procedures, expectations, and I know the most important part to a lot of us is to see the protocols and what football is going to look like. And I want to try to make sure we get that part as correct as possible. You know how much tradition we have. I know I'm going to blow through a lot of this, but you will get this PowerPoint as well for you. But as you know, that we have a tremendous tradition, and with that tradition comes a lot of responsibility that we put upon the kids, and that we expect so much out of them. And I know we're hard on them, and I know we push them, but we want to bring the very best out of them, and we're going to continue to do that. Our mission statement, as you guys have seen, what it's about more than football. It's about creating a great experience and creating lifelong champions and being great young men. Now here's where it gets. Let me go back. The schedule. So as we talked about the schedule, I'm trying to let people on the way in as well while we're going. With the schedule, if I can get back here. With the schedule, we have, obviously we're opening up with Moeller on Saturday night, or on next Friday, the 28th, and it'll be a 7 p.m. game. And after that, it'll be a CCL heavy schedule from there. We'll be home with Bishop Watterson. We'll be at St. Francis de Sales, at St. Charles, at Watterson, home against de Sales, and then everybody's getting in the playoffs. The schedule's been in and out because teams have either opted in, opted out. And we now have a great schedule, and we're excited all about it. Game this coming Friday against Moeller, the 28th, will be at 7 o'clock. And the rest of the games will be at 6 o'clock, with the exception of the final game against the Sales, which will be at 7 o'clock. Reason why the 28th and October 2nd are at 7 o'clock are because both those games are on statewide TV. So to accommodate them, but we're excited. 6 o'clock starts, we think, will help get not have the kids kind of gathering as closely as they would and give them less time to do so. So that's the reason why the 6 o'clock starts. Our coaching staff is what we've had before. The only replacement we had was our new freshman coach, Mike Krause, who's also geometry teacher at Bishop Hartley High School and has done a great job. He's going to work with the freshmen and also work with the linemen, and we're excited about him. As you know, we're always accessible to you. Anything you need is a text or a phone call or an email away, and we'll talk about what our goals are and what we want. Our philosophy is to have the best program in every way. We want to have a great experience for your young man. We want it to be an experience that he couldn't get anywhere else. Our commitment is always to make it more than football. We're going to coach him the way we want our sons coached, and take your son and help him get better. And that's always our greatest key, is help him to be the very best that we can get him to be, no matter where he is, whether he was the strongest, biggest, fastest, or whether he's just a little guy trying to figure out what he can be and what he can do. We want to take them and get them to be the very best they can be. We have obviously the discipline expectations. The expectations of the season are crucial, and we want you've got to help enforce those with us. We need you to be honest and communicate. We need it to emphasize that to be on time. It's important. And I know there's going to be, talking with some of the moms last night, and how are we going to get to after school to, if I'm on blended learning, if I'm on a distance learning, how am I going to get to school, or how am I going to get to school on time? I don't want to have to, certainly don't want to rush through on the freeway or anything like that. We understand that, and we're going to help that. We're going to work with that. We want um, we want to make sure we're on time from a conscientious standpoint, right? We don't want to be negligent of making things important to us, but we certainly understand things are going to happen, and we're going to work with that. Drug, alcohol, tobacco use, you understand that those are non-negotiables. Academic standings, cheating, plagiarizing. Seems like we have a lot of those hard conversations through the years. Please help us to reinforce those things. Character standards, negative relationships, right? Those who, want to be Debbie Downers all the time, or want to slam anything that our young people are involved in. The good stuff our people are involved in. We want to try to curtail that. Obviously, negative relationships, buy-in, respect, and we want to have the whole hawk. We want to coach and raise the entire child. The character standards. If your son is in the Mr. Quartercrack's office, that's not good. No excuses, no justification, no blame. We talk a lot about examples, leadership by example. Be like those who have never ever been to the dean's office. You can do it. Just do that. Just do what they do. I bring this up every year, but what does your child get out of playing football? And we kind of made a list several years ago. Somebody was asking me, I don't know, my son's not getting the ball enough. And I said, well, I don't know to tell you. They said, well, what is he going to get out of this? And it really hurt me or hit me a little bit. And so I wrote down a list of what your child gets out of this. One of a kind experience you can't get anywhere else. Championship level athletics, right? We're going to play the best people that we can play, and we're going to demand that we either be good enough to beat them or we learn about ourselves so we get better. Excellence on and off the field. The laundry list of great things that we're proud of, and not only on the field in the championships we won, but we've been academic all Ohio for so many years in a row, and it's really been a marriage of the academic and athletic, and we think it doesn't work any other way. Spiritual guidance, right? We're going to be surrounded by the gospel message of Jesus Christ every day and in everything that we do. Social development with moral guidance, right? We want to take your young man from a boy and help him grow into a man. When I say help him, right, we're all working together, whether it's parent and coach and him, obviously more than anybody. Lifelong friendships, representing our great school. We always say when the kids kind of hang out and they're wearing their Hartley gear and other people look at them, ooh, that means something. It's important. Lessons and commitment. They like media coverage. I do too. And kids are going to be on TV a couple times already just in the regular season. A lot of newspaper articles. And appreciation of, I love this, appreciation, because we're going to talk a lot about this, of the diversity of gifts, right? The many things and our many backgrounds, and we're going to appreciate that. We can't control what happens outside the world, but we can work like crazy to control what happens within our four walls of Bishop Hartley, and trying to work to make it the very best place we can be so we can take that out and extend upon that in our own communities. Sacrifice for the greater good. I'm proud of our coaching staff. We have a tremendous staff. You're going to have respect. You're going to have a home forever. That's what we think we get out of this experience. All the way early. Listen, when I'm with freshmen and you older parents, you guys get this. The freshman parents, they're worried about where's my son going to play, and is he going to play, and why is this person playing over him, and all these kind of things. And I get it. My advice is always to have patience, and have patience as things develop, and you see this guy does this well, and this guy does that well, and seeing how it all works together. Most important is your child controls how much they play or where they play. I will promise you, I will like all the kids the same, but we will play the children that help the team be the very best on that day. And I'm always careful to say on that day, because week to week, the game plans change and the scenario changes. But we determine playing time a couple things. We're going to send out, we have a winner's manual that we have that has a job description for every position. So if your child wants to play a certain position, he looks on there and says, these are the things I've got to do well, and I've got to do better than other people. Productivity, right? How do we determine playing time? Who does the best on the field? Things I want you to consider is we love the kids all the same. And what you see on video is what the child is doing right then. Again, it does not matter, or it does not indicate that this is what he's always going to do, but that's just where he is right now. If you're not happy with the child's role in the program, I would like the child to talk to me, the player and the child, or the player and the head coach talk one-on-one. If there's still confusion, I'm happy to meet with any parents. It usually doesn't get to that because, I mean, it's just football. Like if it's that important to you as the parent, should be that more important to the child because he controls it more than you do than I do. Never discuss another child, right? Never discuss, you could kind of just talk to me about strategy, I suppose, but I don't know that that's going to go anywhere. But we're never, ever talking about another child. And, but I always want to tell you what I think your child can do to get better. And oftentimes I need to be able to see him do things better, right? Maybe something he's doing that I didn't see. So it's constantly evolving. That's the beauty about football. The team that we're going to roll out there next week against Moeller will not be the same team we take 7 weeks from now into the playoffs. There'll be different roles, different emerging, all that. I give my best advice is this: trust that we love the kids, trust that we know what we're doing, and have patience. It is always going to come. It always shake out. Trust those things. Have patience. I love 1 Corinthians 3:13. What we do in dark will be brought to the light, right? So keep working, keep going. We're going to get as our works deserve. I love this one too, that we're all in this together. We're all working together and we're all rowing the same direction, whether that's Mr. Kowalski, Mr. Winters, your son, me, you, the great history of Bishop Hartley, but most of all, God. We're all rowing the same direction. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. I love this picture. All the parents back when we used to have family night, all the parents and family together. And family night will come back. Here's what you should expect from us as coaches. You should expect us to have a strong work ethic. You should expect us to know what we're doing, and you should expect us to love and care for your son. That we're gonna be fair, we're gonna trust, and we're gonna communicate. What we should expect from your son is to try his best, treat everybody with respect, and put the team first, represent our school team and tradition in a positive light. If we just do those things, it's going to be unbelievable, right? But those are what we should expect from one another. Those are the things that we should expect from one another. As coaches, we always talk about this. Our win-loss record isn't going to tell us what we did. It's going to tell us years from now when we see our kids. And we've now been at Hartley for so long. Wow, going on our 13th year. We've seen their kids go from boys to medium guys and now grown men with their own children, and we want them to see them in what they've become. And most important, we want you to have high expectations. We want them to care about our school, and we want to care about the players. That works all the way around as coaches. That's what our role is. Now listen, we're going to get into a little bit of playing time here, but I always want to say this: if the players value the role they have instead of valuing the role other players have, you have a chance at a great team. There can only be one person with the ball at any one time, okay? But there are literally 25, 30 kids that can get into a football game and have a really important role, right? No matter what the role is, have a really important role. And I've often seen sometimes parents want a role that the child knows he's not either ready for or as skilled at the moment. So we want your child to have a role on the team, and every person is going to have a role that's going to help the program be successful and the team win. So we want to embrace those roles and understand those roles emerge through the years. Where we are today is not where we're going to be down the road. Eligibility, and I know I'm blowing through some of this stuff. Eligibility in season, we have weekly grade checks. You can't have 2 grades lower than a C minus. Eligibility concerns, everybody's eligible at the moment. You're going to check with Power School, and obviously on the blended learning model, it's a whole different world. So the most important thing we have to do is make sure that we're keeping up with our work and we're logging in. There's going to be a lot of questions that we get through together with this, and teachers have similar questions, right? What's the best way to teach this child when they're sitting? I had all these Zooms, so I made a little office, and it was kind of cool, and I liked it, and it was fun, and now I can have all these. How's the teacher going to reach that child if I was that child, setting up that nice little room and setting up their time when they can work best? The teachers are finding those sweet spots as well, and it's going to take some patience. The same thing I said with trust and patience. The distance learning or the blended learning component is going to take trust and patience, but it's all going to work out. It's all going to be good. I have zero doubt. I have zero apprehension. I know it's going to be hard work, but I have zero apprehension. All right, we're going to get into the medicine part. Everybody's got a physical. Obviously, we double checked that before we ever got started in our current environment. You understand that as coaches, I'm never, ever telling an athlete whether they're healthy or not. Nobody's ever saying, I'm never saying, hey, I think he can go today. I think he's healthy. Never, ever. We're not that. Injury prevention is important. When your child should be taped, like there should be we should limit our twisted ankles and wrists and those kind of things, because we should tape those up, right? We can wear ankle braces. Any kind of prevention is good. We would say be a pro means be responsible. We want to constantly be working on our bodies. We've tried to give the kids a lot of time off or some time off. We're scrimmaging Saturday, so we don't have practice tomorrow. They should take that time off, right? We don't want them gathering or being together with large groups to begin with. So we want them resting, feet up, icing. We want you to communicate with Mr. Peter or Jim Peters, who is our athletic trainer, Dr. LeMay, who's our team doctor, and they communicate with me, but it all goes through them. I think that a lot of things that can help you with this is having a good diet, your nutrition, your sleep, and obviously hydration, drinking water all the time. All right, here's what is expected of parents. No volunteering this year. So I've got everybody muted, but they should be excited. There'll be no volunteering. Updated physicals and paperwork, that's number one. And here's what money you owe. $175 your participation fee. That's got to be to Bishop Hartley by September 18th. Then there's a football fee, $30 for the freshmen, $50 for the varsity. That is collected by the parents, and I'm going to put Shelly Skelly's information on here in a second. Again, I'm sending this out to everybody. I will send this direct presentation out, so you'll have all these documents. And next week, parents are going to be there between 4:30 and 6, and you can come by and you can pay them this. Now, what does that money go for? That money goes for all the extra stuff we want to do for the kids. So that money goes for the banquet. That money goes for if we have to travel with any kind of snacks, anything like that. There's no meals this year, so there's no meal money. There's no parents' night. There's no our family night. I know we love those things, and I want those things, and I miss those things. Obviously, I miss family night for my own selfish interest, but we can't have them. They'll be back, and I'm sorry for the seniors, but we're going to have a great senior year to begin with. Here's the issue with the fees. So $30 for freshmen, team parent fee, senior gifts, banquet prep. We give the cheerleader stuff, sophomore, junior, senior, the moms, team mom fee, senior gifts, coach's gift, banquet prep, cheerleader appreciation gifts, all that. They'll collect these fees in person Monday and Tuesday next week, which is a little bit more specific than what I gave. Table will be set up in the parking lot, and you can give checks, Venmo, Zelle will be accepted, checks. You can see all this kind of stuff here. The boys drop off their fees. I'll certainly take them and put them in my little binder. Please clearly mark the envelope with a player's name, parent, and email, and you can email Miss Shelley right here to make other arrangements. All right, here's going to be the most important part. Not that all this other stuff was not important. Of course it was. But what football looks like in 2020. And let me say this, that our only priority this season is have a safe and rewarding season for the children. I can't emphasize that enough. That's our only priority, to let the team be the best they could be, the kids have the great experience, and that we keep all the children safe. Now listen, there's inherent risk in anything that we do, whether it's sports or anything. But I think we can do a great job of keeping the kids as healthy as possible if we continue to be vigilant. I think this in the school. I think this with the team. If we follow kind of the core rules, I think we can keep the kids safe and have an unbelievable year. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, and it doesn't mean it's going to be foolproof. I know that. I know that things happen, but I think if we can avoid things that would be happening, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. And heaven forbid, I don't want to think that when I tell you not to hang around with other people, that we're telling you to be a hermit or you don't care about people that you love or all that. I don't mean that. And I'm greatly torn about that. But I think there's ways that we can go about doing it. So let's talk about this. But this is our only priority. So I'm disappointed we're not having team meals. And when I told Miss Kirkbride, I it was via text, but I think she might have been disappointed too. And I don't like that. But this is the best way for us to have a safe and rewarding season. Is some of the things that we've had in the past that have been unbelievable that we're going to have again. We have to do the best we can without them, because the priority is getting on the field for the kids. All right, let's talk this first. So as I said, what 2020 looks like, I want to remind a couple things in here. And before we even talk about physical safety, we want to talk about emotional safety. And so I get nervous around election time. I get nervous when I see social upheaval. And I get nervous when the outside world tries to tell any of us how to live and how to think. I want the inside of us to remind us of how we do. Now, if I didn't believe in these things, I certainly wouldn't be at Hartley. If your kids did not believe in these things, and the people on here and the parents on here didn't believe in these things, you would not be at Hartley. Because at admissions, we would try to, this is what our school is going to always be. It's going to be filled with love, respect, and dignity, and it's going to be genuine. We're a school that we're going to embody the school that dignifies and appreciates every single person that enters our lives. Every single person. This can only be in talk for a little while, right? So sometimes when we see the world getting upheaval, and I'm worried that election season, it's going to be huge upheaval, and important issues I know got to be discussed. But where are those issues 2 months after that? Where are those issues 6 weeks after that? It's got to be in constant action to change the lives, to make it the best world that we can possibly make it. It's got to be constant. We can't grow tired. We've got to be as vigilant today in creating a world of love, respect, and dignity that we were in June. We've got to be as passionate about that. How do we know that we're doing this, right? And this is what we remind the kids of. So this is all stuff the kids hear all the time. What do we say? What do we say when people aren't watching? How do we look, visualize, or non-verbally communicate with one another? Right? What kind of looks do we give to people? What kind of head nods? What kind of dehumanization do we do? What kind of lack of dignity? Listen, ignoring is a lack of dignity, right? And how do those things happen? What does our social media say? Oh, this is where people get in trouble. I want to make a joke that is racially or sexually or some type of heinous, but it's funny, and nobody, you knew I was joking, wink, wink, you knew I was kidding. If our social media says that, it says that about us, and we're not going to have it. We're not going to have it. What are the people, I thought this is a big one, we talked a long time about this summer. What are people around us comfortable saying and joking about? So if somebody is comfortable saying and joking about something that is socially, racially, sexually deplorable, if they're comfortable joking around that around me, then they're saying in some way that I'm going to dignify it, and that's what we've got to stop. I think we create an environment around us where that doesn't take place. What do we laugh at? What do we endorse? What do we like? When we're in social media. And I love St. Francis of Assisi, where he says, "Preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words." After during the protest, obviously I was engaged like everyone, and I wanted to make active note of our young people who were making a difference and taking action. And I was so proud of it, and I think it was great. But making a difference, taking action. Our worldview, because as we say this with the election, we're going to constantly be above the hatred and division of the world, right? We can't control what other people do. We can't control it, but we can control the safety of people that surround us, and we can control the love that we have and the dignity that we share amongst one another. National politics are not going to identify us, no matter where we stand on the political spectrum, and I don't care. None of those candidates would know me if I was walking down the street, let alone be talking with me, let alone be invested in what the world I want to have on the east side of Columbus is. So, but our local do, in our school, in our community, and our classmates, and our coaches, and our teachers, there'll be zero tolerance for jokes, bullying, making our classmates feel inferior, blatant displays of hate, injustice, racism, sexism, anything that dehumanizes our brothers and sisters. So this is a school-wide thing. This cannot be tolerated, and it can't be something simple that you knew what I meant, wink, wink. Oh, it wasn't for you, wink, wink, because then it grows. If you don't want to genuinely embrace love and respect and dignify every single person, don't come to Bishop Hartley. Some people have heard me tell other parents that and tell their children that, and I don't regret it. And I can't live their lives for them, but I'm going to control the people that are in the school that I love, the children that I love, and my own kids. So take action, make a difference, be a change you wish to see in the world. You know, this is more important. This is going to be more important for the longer term. Now, what we're going to talk about is certainly going to be important. What's our season going to look like for parents? So it's limited capacity. Our parents first. So you're going to watch your children play. The parents are going to watch your children play. Uncles, aunts, cousins, that may or may not be more difficult. You may only have at most 4 tickets. So we're at 15% capacity, which I think Mike Ray said it would be about 350 people, maybe a little less than that. More information will be coming soon. The parents are going to watch. I certainly am not going to turn away people that love their children, but it can't be big groups. We know we can't have big groups. I mean, this is the only way we're able to get it off. Parents are going to have to be supportive. All are going to hear us. I'll talk about that in a second. Appreciate the opportunity that our children have to play. That's the biggest thing. Listen, our kids can't gather. We've not been inside the building since March 12th. So as you come to practice, and some of you guys have seen, they drop off and then they pick up and then they go, kind of similar to how you probably did in junior high. Honestly, there's a lot that I like about it. There's things we're missing out on doing meetings like this. We're going to be doing meetings on Sunday nights, which will be our regular game plan meeting like this that we used to do on Mondays. Probably going to watch film like this. But there's some things that are good. It's a little bit more of a focus, and the kids don't have time to mess around, to be frank. But we got to drop them off and pick them up on time because they can't be gathering. Listen, there's no tailgating. I'm going to hit that on a pause for a second. And I know you're going to miss the tailgating, but if you don't have a senior tailgating, it's going to be back here soon, but just probably not this year. And I'm sorry, there's no tailgating, no gathering. Limit your restroom usage. I mean, you can't use restroom. Of course you can, but I think they're worried about people coming in and out and having big groups standing around there. The concession stand is only selling liquid as well, so only selling pop. I think that we all understand. Everybody in here is really smart. I think we all understand that it is what we can do and what we can't do, what it looks like and what it doesn't look like. And I know this, as much as we love our school, there are a lot of people out there that are just waiting to see us all screw up. You as the parent, screw up, you're bringing a big group, nobody tells you what to do. Coach Brad is the coach, he doesn't care, he's letting them all get together in group and he's not separating them. Billy, the senior, he's not wearing his mask, I told you so, they weren't responsible. Listen, people are going to be looking out for that. We can't give them the ammunition to come at us. So we've got to do it right. That's one reason. The other reason is because we think this gives us the best opportunity to be safe and successful. Here's my parenting advice for yelling, because everyone will be able to hear every word because there won't be many people in there. And I will only tell you that if we threw the ball and you thought we should have ran it, if you think the line should have blocked, if you think whatever it would be, cover that guy, whatever it would be, don't yell, just bite the lip. It's not that important. It embarrasses me. It embarrasses you. Listen, the biggest thing is embarrasses your son. So please don't do that. Just bite the lip. We'll get better. Trust that we're going to get better. All right. Here is the success of the season that's dependent on how well we follow safe protocols. It's personal responsibility is number one. Don't let your kids hang out outside of school. Please, please keep their distance. Don't get lazy on this. I use this example. I went to my parents' house last night. I feel confident I don't have corona. My parents don't have corona. But what's the difference? I'm going to sit on the other side of the room from them, right? My son was over at my parents' house. I said, give Grandpa a hug. And my dad's like, no, we're all right. Listen, that was the right move. I wish I should have known better. Like, just keep the distance. Keep the distance. We're going to get back to normal. The sooner we can keep our distance and do these. The kids have to wear masks on the sidelines. When they're not in the game, they have to wear masks on the sidelines. So I think these gaiters that go around the neck, pull up. So I have one on at practice, when I get close to a child, I pull it up. When I'm away from them, I pull it down. And that's kind of what our responsibility is with coaching. The kids that are not actively in the game have to have them on. Constantly washing the hands. They need to make sure they have a mask anytime they enter the high school. So if they're going to get treatment in the training room, if they've got to go in and get equipment, they've got to wear masks. So masks at all time through there. Here's what the academic day looks like. I promise I'm just learning this. So there's going to be things that may or may not look exactly the same, and we'll get them right. And that first week of school, I know we're figuring things out, and we'll get it right. But here's the thing. If you're distance learning, if you're at home and you're getting this online, so this could be my English class, and this would be how I'd be teaching my English class. PowerPoint would be up there. I'd be talking to the class, so kind of similar to how this goes. They're responsible for logging on. They've got to be actively logging on. And if the teacher says, I've got to see your face, I got to see your face like a regular school day, but I'd be doing it from my neat little home office I created, or the child's home office. I would encourage us not to make it a lazy day set up. I know a lot of you guys did this. You set up a certain time when they did their work, and they had a workspace, and it was productive for your child in the spring. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a great way to do it. If you are blended, meaning some days you're at school, some days you're at home, you've got to log on when you're at home, right? You're not doing it on your own time. You're in my English class and it's at 8:30. You're on there at 8:30, or you're considered absent. And then you organize your equipment for the day. So we're kind of figuring out what you would do. So if, let's say I was coming to school on the red day and I'm practicing after school. So I would bring my bag, my football bag that you have, and you would, or your shoulder pads, jersey, and helmet, just like that, just like how you'd regularly hold it. And we are going to put it probably in the wrestling room so it can be spread out, or in the tack so it can be spread out, one of those two. So after school, they would get it, they'd throw their shorts on, shoulder pads, then out to the field. So you would organize your equipment beforehand. You know, you do not come to school if you're sick in any way. That's a self-assessment. If I have a headache, if I've got a sore throat, if I've got a fever, I'm not coming to school. If I got a fever, I'm not coming to football. I mean, and those are non-negotiable, no questions asked. Somebody texted me the other day, said, I got a little bit of a stomach ache. I don't know. I'm probably gonna sit practice out. Correct. You are going to sit practice out. And when you come back, you'll be in the lineup if that's where you were before. We will, there's no, if you're sick, you're staying home. We're not getting other people sick. And we'll get through it that way. So that's a responsibility. The kids have taken great responsibility with that. We need to continue that. Here's what week will look like. Again, I'll send this all to you, but here's what the week of practice will look like. Saturday, the freshmen and JV will play. And what we're looking at doing, and I'll give more information as this comes closer, is the freshmen will play at 9 o'clock. So the first freshman game will be September 5th at Bishop Watterson. The freshmen will play at 9 o'clock. When the freshmen are done, all the families will leave. The freshmen will leave. Then the JV families will come in and will play the JV game. The kids will be there an hour before their game starts. They will come dressed. So your JV and freshman players will come dressed. We are never going in locker rooms, or we're going to avoid them at all costs. Varsity, which will be probably, I don't know, 18, 25 players, somewhere there, will come in and watch film at 8 a.m., weight room and film. Sunday night, the team will get a Zoom link every week that'll go every Sunday night, and we'll meet at 7 o'clock Sunday to set up the whole week. So from about 7 to 7:45 every Sunday night. This takes the place of what we used to meet on Monday nights. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start practice at 3:30. I think that's enough time at the end of the school day to get to practice. If it's not, then we'll start at 3:45. Okay, we will work it usually like it is now, when the kids would have practice from 7:45 to 10. 7:45 to 8 was warm up and organization and all that. So this will be a similar type of thing. So practice from 3:45 to 6. Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll probably watch some film on Zoom that night. Thursday, 3:30 to 5:15. If you're not in school, we want you to arrive dressed at 3:30. We'll see how that goes first week. If Brad, I can't get here at 3:30. We close to 3:45. Then we'll make it 3:45. We're going to gauge how it goes. If you're in school, and this is what I'm worried about, we want to quickly dress in small groups. So we would go in, we're allowed to go in at 9 at a time. So we would go into whether it's the wrestling room, because I want a big spacious room to change. I don't want the locker room because it's too constricted. Big spacious room we can spread out. I want them to quickly dress and then go on the field. I don't want them to gather. I don't want them to hang out. I don't want them hanging out in the parking lot. We've got to avoid that. And you can tell I'm worried with that. And it's going to take a lot of work, and we're going to do it. Kids have to have water jugs and plenty of water jugs. These big old jugs, I love this one right here, the big old jug, and it's got to have your name on it. McFeeders right here. It should say that. And if Andrew is an offensive lineman, he's going to have it on a cart. And during timeouts, we're going to put all the offensive ones on a cart and wheel them out. But they've got to have these plenty of water. I think Jimmy thinks we should have 2 of them. Maybe you bring a big old jug like this and you put your name on it. I don't know. But we've got to figure it out because we're not going without water. We're not going. But you've got to have your own. You can't drink off of other people. But you want to have your name on it, and you want to have plenty of it. We're almost wrapping up. If you have any questions, put them in the little question mark, and I'll go through them at the end. Here's what game day will look like. And this starts next week. And the scrimmage this Saturday, we're doing like a version of it to how we would look like. If the game is a 6 o'clock start, I know next week's a 7 o'clock start, they're going to get there an hour and a half before. They're going to come dressed in their pants and shoulder pads and helmet kind of off the side and carry it with them. They're going to come dressed. They're going to meet in the end zone, everything outside. Maybe we'll get some shade, probably put up some shade tents out there too, so we get some shades. Tape outside. Halftime will be in the end zone, and it'll be 10 minutes. It won't be a long halftime like it was before. After the game, there's no hanging out. Parents are going to take the players home right after the game. No locker rooms, no gatherings, nothing. The players are going to go right from there to home. So these are part of, again, these are the governor's orders that come from this. And this is one of the reasons I don't know if I touched on that, St. Charles is now playing again, and we're going to play in week 4. And I'm happy about it, honestly. We had St. Vincent St. Mary's on there. We're going to start a great rivalry with them. We're planning on playing this year, week 9. They're going to go back on next year, week 9, and we'll play them for a few years out after that. But I don't want to get on a bus. I want to be able to, where you're going to drive to away games. So the kids are going to meet there at the away games like they do at the other schools. And your only away games are at DeSales, at Watterson, and at St. Charles. So they're all close. So I am happy about that. And then by the time we get to the playoffs, which is week 7, we're going to have it figured out and know exactly how we want to travel. So we probably will take buses then once we get there. But we're going to be, imagine how much better we are now than we were 8 weeks ago. We're going to be even better now, better then. This is what like the game day will look like next week. Okay. So this gives you a little look. Everybody, all the varsity guys will get a big thing about this next week, and a big packet. This will be one of the pages. 4:30 players get there. 5 o'clock or 4:30 it opens. 5 o'clock everybody's got to be there. 5:20 walk through. We do a prayer, and different kids and coaches have to do it every week. Then we warm up and relax in the end zone. I'm going to address the team. Then we take it out, and I'm going to remind them you got to have plenty of water with your name on it. Keep social distance. Constantly wash and sanitize. And I'll put wear a mask on here too. It got cut off at the bottom, so I'll put wear a mask as well on there. All right, I'm going to go through some of the questions and put them in the chat. Senior banner cost. I believe it's going to be $40. So senior banner cost is going to be $40. We're going to take pictures on Monday. So Monday they take pictures at 2 o'clock. Saturday I'll have all the picture forms, and I'll email all the picture forms to you. Or give them out, whatever Mike Ray has for me. But we're going to have them on Monday. Or we're going to have them, pictures will be Monday. They'll wear their blue uniform, blue jersey with their game pants. And $40 are the senior banners, but Shelly Skelly will chime in on something more on there. All right, someone said, what are we going to do for food for students who have class on Fridays? So one of the things I think we would do, I think the kids may, if they could, go home and then come back at 4:30 for a 6 o'clock game. I think that's what everybody's wanting, because we can't house them, and I don't want them outside the whole time. So there's a couple options. They can have a little grab bag if that's what they would do before other sports games. They could go home and come back. If that's totally inconvenient, obviously we can work on it and figure out a smaller group of what we would do. but that's the plan for food for that. So we're kind of on our own. We're not going to let anybody go malnourished. So if we got to get a whole bunch of Uncrustables, we'll certainly do that. Other teams that visit Hartley, are they riding the bus? They are not. So the only one that is Moeller. So anybody that comes out from a long distance is going to drive. Or I'm sorry, anybody that comes from a long distance is going to be riding a bus. So Moeller's riding a bus. If we were going to go to St. V, we were going to take a bus. So that's kind of one of the things that we wanted to do with playing so many local schools, is that we wanted to make sure that they were able to drive and all that. So DeSales, Waterston, St. Charles are going to be driving too. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. So send them in here. Parents bringing extra water to refill water jugs at halftime. Not sure if they can refill anywhere on site. We talked about it refilling, but I think parents can absolutely do that. If that's my son, if my son's on the team and I have more water for him, absolutely, I can do that. Like, you're their parent, so you absolutely can do that. But I cannot take Deontay Hubbard's water and fill it, even though I'm the coach and his son's buddies with me, or my sons are buddies. I cannot do that. But that's your child, absolutely. You can do it from there. Freshman players, parents able to go to varsity games. I don't know that, but I don't think to start. I think that the way it's going to be is each child is going to get at least 2 tickets and maybe 4. That's a Mike Ray question. So Bryce January, he would have like an online, and he would be a +2. And Nick Chauvin would be online, and he would be a +2. And Alex Ramacone would be a +2 or +4, whatever it would be. And then the same thing would be for freshman games and for JV games. So if Rory Rolston, freshman, +2 at the freshman game. So now if they're playing, somebody might play 2 quarters freshman, 2 quarters JV, some freshmen, some varsity, some whatever. Then that would be, we'd split that out like that, and certainly parents would go. Remember, we want the parents to watch their children on the field. That's our priority. We want you to watch your children on the field in the game that they have. And all the games are going to be streamed too, so that's going to be kind of cool. All the games are going to be streamed. The first game's on Spectrum, but I know Mr. Jahan has Matt Barnes and Bobby Mack doing these as well. All right, somebody asked this. Oh yeah, well, away games before tickets as well. It's up to the other schools. So I can tell you this: at DeSales, they've got, our stadium fits 3,500 people. DeSales fits 5,000. They will give more tickets to us at their game than Waterston will. Waterston sits about 400 people. I don't know if you're hearing me. We're playing at the Waterston, at the back school. So if you have kids that play soccer, lacrosse, or whatnot, you've seen that back field. That's where we're going. So spectators are incredibly limited there. But so it's going to be a little bit case by case with away games, but everybody's going to be able to see their children. Now listen, here's one thing a parent asked me that I wanted to hit on. And they said, do you recommend players taking the virtual learning option to lessen exposure during football season? I don't recommend any of it. And I don't say that to be snide. I just don't know. I think your level of comfort is based on your level of comfort and what you think is best. I think that you could be anywhere, and if you stay away from people, I think you're in great shape, and you wash your hands and you wear your mask. I have no qualms with my children or me. Let's say me. I'm more about me. I have no qualms with me. I'm going to stay away from people, and I'm going to wear my mask. As the child is learning and they become more aware, I don't want to say more disciplined, more aware, because I'm disciplined, but I wasn't as aware. I need to be more aware. I think that becomes a comfort level. What your family is comfortable with, you're comfortable with. Now, I'm going to tell you, and I've talked to many of you I've talked one-on-one with, I was scared just crapless early about when we first got started in June. And I asked a million questions, and I asked Franklin County Department of Health and Dr. LeMay, and I just was peppering people with questions. And I think that outdoor football activity is it's been shown that has been a safe activity. We've not had spread in there. So I feel good about it. Doesn't mean it's a catch-all. It doesn't mean that no one's ever gonna catch COVID? Of course it doesn't. I can't guarantee that, but I feel good about the environment that's created. The kids have been out there. Today was their 40th practice since June 3rd. So the kids have been together, and sometimes they're close, but then we split them up pretty quick after that. You know, we're constantly changing activities. A football play only lasts 6 seconds. The most time they are, I was in one of these calls with the guys on the governor's task force, and they said the most exposure a child has in a football game is 7 total minutes or 6 total minutes, something like that. And a soccer game was 3 total minutes. Exposure means within 6 feet of somebody for consecutive minutes. I felt great. And then obviously we monitored all of our kids this year, and I felt great. So I don't recommend anything. I think it's all good. I think as you're figuring out what's best for your family, it's all good. If virtual is a great option for you, it's all good. To lessen the exposure during football season, I don't know that that's as prevalent or not prevalent. You know, we're going to create, I promise you, we're going to create an environment at school where kids are staying the heck away from each other, washing their hands and wearing a mask. I promise you that. And we're going to be walking the hallways and peeking in rooms and, hey, Billy, get that mask up. No, get away. 2 steps, you know, just constant reminders and awareness. Hand washing portals are going to be set up all over the field and all over the stadium. So you haven't been in the building, but there's portals everywhere, and that's what it's going to look like on the field and in the stadium. JV players report an hour before their game. So JV games are at 11 o'clock, so they have to be there at 10. So 1 hour before. Hartley is going hybrid 3x2, but there was also a virtual option, and you'd have to check one of the emails or mailings from Mr. Kowalski. So yeah, there is. I mean, we try to do an all-stop shop. Oh, great question. Will there be Seek this year? If so, how will that affect the 3:30 practice time? So we're talking about this Monday at our staff meeting. There has to be extra enrichment, and obviously that's always going to take precedence over practice time. You get there and you get work done in school. When you're done, you hustle out to practice, and then you practice in that order. And that's obviously not non-negotiable. Now, here was one of the things that we had discussed as staff, and I don't know which direction this goes, but the teachers would set up office hours outside via Zoom. Now, this is one of the options. Maybe it's still Seek, because I haven't touched base about this here in about a month, but that was one of the office options. So for me, let's say in my English class, my office hours would be Monday and Tuesday or Monday and Thursday, let's say, we're doing a Zoom football 7:30 to 8:30 or 7 to 8. Okay, I'm going to do my office hours from 8 to 8:30 for junior honors American literature. And then I'm going to do Thursday 8 to 8:30, the same thing. So that was one of the things that was discussed. So there will be definitely enrichment, and it's not going to affect the 3:30 practice time. And if we need to extend the practice time in the beginning, we'll find a spot for it. What I don't want is I don't want kids hanging out, though. So we'll find a way to marry those two things together. JV will be dressing for Friday night games. Even though they're limited players on the field, we're good. We've got to have 50. We're only allowed to dress 50 players, and that's what we have on a varsity team. We got like 51, 52, so we're going to make it work. Freshmen are scrimmaging this Saturday, okay? So let me go through Saturday with us, how it will look. Saturday, the varsity, the scrimmage is at 10 o'clock. If you're getting taped, the varsity has to be there at 8:30. Everybody has to be there at 9 o'clock, dressed with their mask, water, ready to go. The scrimmage is from 10 to 11:30, and I know you're going to be mad, but there's no spectators. That's an Olentangy district rule. There's no spectators. Freshman scrimmage is from 11:30 to 12:30. So freshmen will scrimmage 11:30, 12:30 at Olentangy, and they will arrive at 11 o'clock. And I'll send all this out in an email as well. All right, last call for questions, and I'm wrapping up here in about 20 seconds. As all you guys know, you can, again, email, text, call. I will send this out to everybody from there. I don't think we're streaming the scrimmage, but I'll put it up on Huddle, and everybody can get it on their children's Huddle account. But I don't think they're streaming the scrimmage. So those are mine. I appreciate everybody being active, and this is a great team, great group of kids. I've been over the moon with how they have responded to absolutely everything. They've just been tremendous, and their leadership, the seniors, you parents. I mean, all you parents should be incredibly proud, but your parents, the parents of the seniors, I mean, you've raised some real men. You have raised some real men, and I don't know what you see at home. I know that you've raised some real men, and I'm proud to coach them, and appreciative that you're allowing us to be in their lives. So, I got one more question. Let me get this last question. Go Seniors! On that note, go Hawks, go Seniors. I will see everybody here soon. No stupid questions. We're all figuring this out together. That's it. I will see you. Thank you, guys. All right. Oh, I think somebody had a chat. Somebody had another question. We have a virtual intro of the seniors. Like, can we have a virtual intro of seniors? Like, had it family night.
I was just saying it would be nice if they got a shout out at some point.
Did you hear me? Are you still with me? Can you still hear me? Angela.
Yeah, I'm still with you. I was just saying, yeah, you know how normally. Yes.
Who's hearing me?
Yes.
Angela, you still with me?
I'm still hearing you.
I can hear you too. This is James's mom.
Hey, what we're doing senior night. I didn't say this very good. We are doing senior night. We'll put this in here, September 5th. So we want to do it early. We want to do it right after, right before the Washington game. So we're going to do senior night, so we make sure we get it and it doesn't go into the year. So we're going to do senior night just like we always did. What's everybody think? Tell me these questions. Are you going to put these questions with the answer in the email? No, I wasn't going to. Unless if there's something I didn't answer, I wasn't going to because there's so many of them. But if you want to shoot me one, I will, for sure. Somebody asked if I'm going to put these questions and answer in the email, or they can ask me now. I'm going to hang out here for a little while.